Within 6 months, he had all his patients on the diet. After a year, a few things started happening which he was unprepared for. His cancer patients were going into remission. How so? Do you remember what cancer cells are consuming? 15 times the glucose of any other cell. This is a low glucose diet. His diabetics were coming off their medication. This is type 1 and type 2 diabetics. Absolutely there was weight loss. You might be surprised at the next one. His patients on with high cholesterol levels came back to normal. And what are they eating? Meat, butter, cream, cheese, eggs. What are people told if they want to get their cholesterol levels down? What have they got to stop? Meat, butter, cream, cheese, eggs. Is that right? He's scratching his head. He only did it for weight loss. And that's why he wrote his book. But before he wrote his book, he went into the medical journals. And he opened once again his anatomy and physiology book that he hadn't looked in for probably about 20 years. And this is what he found, that these 3 food groups are the essential food groups. Why? Remember, we've got to ask why at every step. Well, fibre sweeps the gastrointestinal tract. And if it doesn't get swept every day, it starts to slow down and not work properly. And if the colon doesn't work, the whole body doesn't work. Plus, it is in the fibre part of food, there's often a concentration of the nutrients. Protein's essential. 50% of the membrane around every cell in the body is protein. Remember yesterday we looked at how the new cell is built up with amino acids? My son, James, he inherited my body type. It's hard to put on weight, and that's bad news for a boy because they want to be big. Well, he's big. I can show you a photo of him. He's got muscles now. How did he do that? He worked very hard. He's got his mother's diligence. He just worked at it and worked at it. But he did something else. I was in his room one day and my foot kicked this big bucket. I said, "What's that?" "Oh, that's my protein powder, Mum." Every bodybuilder, if they want to build up muscle, what do they got to add to their diet? Protein, because it's protein that builds muscle. 50% of the membrane around every cell in the body is fat. Whether you're 100 kilos or 300 kilos, I'm talking about the membrane around your cell. Except for the brain cell, it's 70% fat. And that's little fatty sheath around the tail of the cell, that gets your brain cells up to 70%. In fact, the brain's the fattiest organ in the body, and you know what it loves to eat? Fat. We'll have a look at that. What Atkins found is that the non-essential food group is carbohydrates. This surprised him. Now let me define that. I'm not saying carbohydrates are bad. I'd be a fool to do that. We love them, we enjoy them. They're not bad. They only pose a problem when they're overdone and refined. Got that? Notice the 2 words, overdone, and surely on the high carbohydrate diet, it's a little bit overdone, isn't it? And refined, because most people that are on this diet, it's refined. But you can still overdo the unrefined carbohydrate. So because of that, your carbohydrate part of your meal is your negotiating part of the meal. And the negotiations change depending on your height, depending on your size, depending on your age, depending on your physical and mental output through the day. But probably most, it would depend on your health status. So if someone wanted to lose weight quickly, safely, drastically, what would they severely eliminate? The carbs. Someone wanted to conquer cancer, what would they quite drastically drop? The carbs. Someone wanted to conquer their diabetes, what would they drop? The carbs. Someone wanted to put on weight. This is a trick question. How did James put on weight? You don't increase the carbs, because I don't know anyone that wants to get fat. In fact, what we find, and we found this last week, that our overweight people lost weight. Our underweight people put on a little bit, and our people who were the right weight, they just stayed the same, and they're all eating the same food. The Bible says, prove all things and hold fast to that which is good. People say to me, Barbara, do you ever step sideways? Do you ever have a little bit of junk? I said, why would I do that? I feel so good. I sleep well. I like the results. So notice what the Bible says, prove all things and hold fast to that which is good. In other words, do it. And just keep at it. How can you do it though on a vegetarian diet? Let's have a look. And we're going to go to Genesis 1:29, where God's telling Adam and Eve what to eat. Because I don't think you can improve on the Garden of Eden diet. Let's have a look at it. In Genesis 1:29, God says, behold, I've given you every herb-bearing seed which is upon the face of the earth. We're going to have a look at the food. We're going to have a look at the protein content and the carbohydrate content. God says, behold, I've given you every herb-bearing seed. So what's a seed? That would be grain. A seed would be legume, like often called the beans. And a seed would also be seed. So let's look at grain. You've got wheat, rye, barley, oats, amaranth, buckwheat, quinoa, so many, rice, so many grains. They are high in protein, but they are also high in carbohydrates. So let's glance over at our carbohydrate list. How many of these are from grain? So we've got grain. We could say grain, because all the cake section. Grain. The majority of our carbohydrate list is from the grain department. What's a legume? That's your chickpeas, lima beans, black-eyed beans, cannellini beans. Well, you call them black-eyed peas, don't you? Lentils, soy. They are high in protein, but interesting to note that they are medium to low in carbohydrate. That is interesting because if you go to the modern Atkins books, which is your keto diet, your ketogenic diet, your paleo diet, they will say don't eat legumes because they have carbohydrates. Well, they do, but not a lot. Only a third what you will find in the grain. What about seed? You've got pumpkin seed, sesame seed, sunflower seed, chia seed, flaxseed or linseed. These seeds are high in protein, but they are quite low in carbohydrate. So God said, behold, I've given you every herb-bearing seed which is upon the face of the earth, and every tree. In the which of the trees a fruit-bearing seed? What's a fruit-bearing seed? There's your nut. All your nuts come from the fruit of the tree. And we've got, you say pecan, we say pecan, walnuts, cashew, Brazil, hazelnut, almond, so many nuts. And the nuts are high in protein, but quite low in carbohydrate. So to ensure you're getting your three essentials, the fibre, protein and fat, my suggestion is you increase the legume, nut, seed part of the meal and decrease the grain part of the meal. That's an easy way to do it. You can see why Atkins' diet was so popular. You can see why the paleo diet's so popular. But what comes into the equation also is Dr. Colin Campbell's book, China Study, where he shows that he could switch cancer cells on and off by the amount of meat and dairy products he was giving to the rats. There's hardly a meat that is safe today because of the way they're fed, because of the way they're killed, because of the way they're stored. It makes it so much easier on the vegetarian diet. But one of the reasons why so many people stop the fat is because of cholesterol. Would you agree with me? So let's have a look at cholesterol. It's a good time to look at it because the liver makes cholesterol. And by the way, it makes cholesterol according to the demand our body puts on it. And 80% of the cholesterol that the liver makes is made from glucose. And 20% of the cholesterol that the liver makes is made from fat. Now this information tells us straight away It's not the butter on the bread, it's the bread under the butter that's the problem. And that's what Atkins found. So let's have a look at cholesterol. There are two main types. One is high density lipoprotein called HDL, high density lipoprotein, and LDL. HDL is usually called the good guy, and the reason for that is it's the carrier. So it carries excess cholesterol from the blood back into the liver. That's why it's called the good guy. LDL is called the bad guy. But what you've got to remember is the body doesn't make anything bad. It has a role. So what is its role? Its role is that of a repairer and a rebuilder. So wherever there's damage, you're going to find LDL because it's the repairer and the rebuilder. But it plays another role. It delivers cholesterol to the brain because the brain loves cholesterol. Cholesterol to the brain. Now let me show you something briefly. We're going to look at this in further detail later. Glucose burns at 4 calories per gram. A calorie is a unit of energy. That's what glucose burns at. Whereas fat burns at 9 calories per gram. Can you see why the brain loves fat? Because fat is going to give more than twice the units of energy, and our brain cells, they're consuming fuel fast. Let's have a look at the blood vessel and how the cholesterol works in the blood vessel. Because of its low density, LDL is always on the edge. Because of its high density, HDL is always in the middle. Dr. Natasha Campbell McBride, who wrote the book Put Your Heart in Your Mouth, she spends the first 4 chapters of her book defining what damages the arterial wall. See, the arterial walls are lined with little endothelium cells, and chemicals damage them. Heavy metals damage them. There's your mercuries. Also, what damages them is mold. And we're exposed to, she defines, the reason why it's 4 chapters, she defines all the different chemicals. They're in toothpaste, they're in food. What's going to plug the holes up, students? The LDL cholesterol, that's its role, that's its job. So it comes along and it plugs up. If it doesn't plug the hole up, we would bleed into the tissues. Can you see that? So they're like the Band-Aid. But the person doesn't realize that the moldy house is killing them. The person doesn't realize the 4,000 chemicals that are in a cigarette. So they keep smoking. They don't realize the danger in their washing detergents, in their toothpaste. So can you see that it's still happening? And they read an article that says, no, mercury does not kill you at all. Well, they haven't read the science. You know, it's a neurotoxin. Can you see what's happening? Something else is happening. So all through the bloodstream, we've got little molecules of protein. When a person is on a high carbohydrate diet, releasing a lot of glucose into the blood connects
with 3 powerful drinks to detox your liver and restore your health. Your liver works 24/7 to filter out toxins, process nutrients, and keep your body running smoothly. But with today's diet full of processed foods, sugar, and alcohol, your liver can become overworked and sluggish. If you often feel tired, bloated, or have trouble digesting food, your liver might be crying for help. The good news? You can support your liver naturally with these 3 powerful detox drinks. They help flush out toxins, improve digestion, and boost your overall energy. Let's dive in. 1. Lemon and ginger detox water. A simple yet powerful drink. Lemon is packed with vitamin C, which helps your body produce glutathione, a key antioxidant that detoxifies your liver. Ginger, on the other hand, reduces inflammation and improves digestion, allowing your liver to function more efficiently. How to make it? Squeeze half a lemon into a glass of warm water. Grate or slice a small piece of fresh ginger and add it in. Let it sit for a few minutes and drink on an empty stomach every morning. What happens? This drink stimulates bile production, helps flush out toxins, and kickstarts your digestion for the day. 2. Green tea and turmeric elixir. Green tea is loaded with catechins, powerful antioxidants that protect the liver and enhance detoxification. Turmeric, on the other hand, contains curcumin, which has anti-inflammatory and liver-repairing properties. Together, they create an ultimate liver-cleansing drink. How to make it? Brew a cup of green tea and let it cool slightly. Add 1/2 teaspoon of turmeric powder and stir well. Optionally, add a dash of black pepper, which boosts turmeric absorption. Drink it daily to support your liver function. What happens? Your liver gets a massive antioxidant boost, helping it flush out toxins while reducing inflammation. 3. Beet and carrot juice. Beets and carrots are a liver's best friend. Beets contain betalains, which support detoxification, while carrots are rich in beta-carotene, helping your liver regenerate its cells. This juice not only cleanses your liver, but also improves blood circulation and gives you a natural energy boost. How to make it? Blend 1 beet and 2 carrots with a little water. Strain if needed and drink immediately. For extra benefits, add a slice of ginger or a squeeze of lemon. What happens? Your liver is flooded with essential nutrients that help detoxify and heal damaged cells. Start detoxing today. If you've been feeling sluggish, bloated, or low on energy, it's time to give your liver the care it deserves. Add these 3 powerful detox drinks to your routine and feel the difference in your digestion, energy levels, and overall health. Which one will you try first? Let me know in the comments. And if you found this helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more natural health tips.